Dealing with difficult characters in our lives is something we will be confronted with all the time. Now, if you could turn that difficult person into a cute little whimsical bunny like this, you will diffuse that entire situation and make them less threatening. First, you're going to draw out your character. You can use the reference and documents I supplied in the membership and work on developing the little characters. Then you'll outline that with a water-soluble dark brown. I used the Derwent ink 10s here. And use your water brush to dissolve those lines, leaving some white space or lighter areas to create contrast. Next, you'll take coloring pencils and create a beautiful, intense vibration of color in highlighted areas like I'm using here with the yellow, making sure you hit all the high points and just choose a light source area. Now, what's beautiful about creating a character like this is we get to see how we interact with them, how they play a role in how we see them, and also how that depth of character becomes a developed element where you almost dictate how that shadow part will play out. And when you give this person a new outlook or personality or character trait by adding color and emotion to their look, you will be dealing with these difficult characters in a creative way while recreating them as a bunny with a whimsical expression reduces the character's influence over you. It always helps to soften the impact they might have had. And when you are dealing with difficult characters, always remember that they are going through things themselves. It's not to say that we must accept and forgive all their actions, but what we could do is just see the situation from a new perspective. And if they are going through things, maybe when you see them through the eyes of something softer, something kinder, something more fun, their personas will reflect that. Now, when we deal with the dark side of people, it's just like adding shadows into the character. We get to place the shadows where we need them to be deeper and almost come to life. Because without a shadow side, how could you ever see the light? And the same goes for the light. When you see the light, you know for a fact that there is enough contrast there. And once you know how to bring out the best in people, their radiant glow might shine out into the world. But it is your responsibility to be a radiant glow for them. Be the thing they are yearning to become. And creating a character with a more diffused expression or at least a lighter mood will give you the ability to really define how you see them. Because it's not always them, it is sometimes our perspective of them. Now, it doesn't matter how you depict your character. What we are looking to do is to elevate them, to make them look more beautiful, more interesting, and have a different persona to the one that you might not want to see. Now, right here, I'm using a violet, And the little horns, I used a deep madder, I think it's purplish pink, all from the Faber Castell range. And just layering the colors, bringing in a few intense marks and highlighting certain areas, developing others, and creating a cohesive looking dimensional character that has both light and dark sides and also has movement and interest and something pretty to look at. And I'm sorry the video isn't showing that clearly, but there are many other little characters on this page that we are going to go through in the next few minutes. I want to encourage you to create as many as you can possibly create today, and also make sure you have enough time to really sit and ponder what this character's place in your life is. Do they deserve to be there? Should they be there? Should you be giving them that much attention? And if the answer is no, then you have the fullest right to not spend that much time with them and to distance yourself from whatever is going on. Now, in the next couple of little character development motions that you are going to witness, I want you to see them in a way where they are less difficult. And once that fear is erased and the stress is softened, you'll discover how much easier it is to relate to these difficult characters in your life. And in a sense, we must also remember that they are going through things themselves. They are also human, they also have lives, and guess what? They might have an even more difficult person to deal with. And that is reflected in their personalities because they don't have anything else surrounding them. And they also don't have this resource of knowing how to transmute and develop a character from a basic shape into something that is cute, whimsical, and less threatening. So continue your little creative practice here and fill one page or even fill a double spread as long as you have fun and create imaginary expressions for this bunny like personality. Create color harmonies that you feel work together very well. And be mindful in this session that we do not sit and judge the other person or the person you are depicting, but rather that we see them in a softer light and also add to that character trait you want to see in them instead of what they are pushing out into the world. Dealing with people that are angry and hold long term resentment involves understanding the roots, the things that they practice daily to keep themselves happy and to cope. Do they have something that they can use to cope? Do they have something where they can give expression to that feeling? Do they have someone who can give them professional help? It is so important to know how this person is feeling and when they can express their anger constructively and cultivate compassion towards themselves. They will get to understand the roots of their anger and resentment. Anger often is a second or secondary emotion that is triggered by pain, fear, feelings of inadequacy, and it can be a response to perceive injustice or a threat by anyone. That anger isn't directed at you, for example, or at a specific situation. It is really there as a statement to show that person's deepest fears. Often, resentment goes hand in hand with anger. And when we have these negative feelings towards other people, it may be stemming from something we experienced in our past. It's something we thought we did wrong. And this feeling of injustice is further fueled by people who mistreated you, people who ignored you, and people who undervalued you. But I think fear and anger is more like siblings. And when you have a way to cope, to express this anger, you will have a better way of not suppressing your feelings, and you'll find yourself trusting people more. Now, one wonderful way to do that is to talk to a trusted friend or journal about it, just like we're doing here. This is an image, but you can also write a paragraph or a page or even a chapter about this person. Something else you could try is deep breathing in a mindful, rested emotional state where you get to reduce that intensity. And when you are feeling angry, your first response should be a deep breath or two or three. And then a moment of clarity before you say something that could hurt the other person. We need to learn to forgive quickly and use this powerful tool to move forward and release those negative emotions. Empathy and compassion comes next as we try to understand the other person's perspective and practice compassion towards them. And if you are the one suffering from anger and resentment, you have to learn to have compassion for yourself. We need to challenge the negative thoughts and identify why these thought patterns are contributing to the anger and why we find it so difficult to release. It can help by setting boundaries and also protect yourself from certain people. You don't have to be friends with all of them, and you don't have to interact with any of them. If someone is making you upset or causing distress in your life, it is time for you to set your friendship with them aside and move on to better friends. Adding a little bit of white highlight in that eye uplifts the little eye and makes it look like it's sparkling. Now, in case you didn't know, we have a creative mindful membership where you can access all of the documents I mentioned in here and have so many things that you can make your own and create with and download and play with and just fill sketchbook upon sketchbook while filling your heart to the brim with all the things you really need. It's been 4 years in the making, and there's lots of free contents for you as well. Before you sign up as a member, all you have to do is go to the open studio sessions every week and enjoy the offerings. I am there answering your questions and actively participating in all the things happening behind the scenes. And if you are really struggling deeply with things like anger and resentment, maybe it's time to seek a therapist or a counselor for professional help, seeking a group of people who can uplift you and be there by your side will impact your life positively. Now, examples of things I've shown or talked about here today are the drawing exercises where we transmute the person into someone or something a little cuter and less threatening. Deep breathing, where you calm your central nervous system, and journaling, like we're doing with the images, but you can also do that with words. And two other things I'd like to bring up is if you've got pent up anger and frustration and resentment, the best thing you can do for yourself is do a physical activity, whether it is to clean your room or vacuum the floor or go out for a walk in the park or even do a full blown exercise. That release of additional energy inside the body also reduces energy of pent up emotions. And the second one is to practice mindfulness. Any of the techniques I've shared in the mindful practices section and in the mindful practices masterclass will help you to increase your awareness of your own thoughts and your feelings and also reduce that reactive nature. This is a coping mechanism that you can use to navigate these difficult emotions and darker areas of life to give you a greater emotional well being and to cultivate a feeling of acceptance for yourself, not for anyone else, but only for you, so that you can work through life and be around those difficult people without further frustrating your own life. From start to finish, a creative practice like this could take around 30 to 45 minutes. And in that time, you've had enough reflection time, enough relaxation time, and also activated the right side of your mind to really help you find clarity and work through this difficult situation. You've experienced something other than that current state, and you've also created something in your sketchbooks that you could treasure and cherish later without having to worry about dealing with this character. And it could also be a great reminder of how much you've learned about yourself and what others might be experiencing. You could be there for them as a friend, or you could release them so that their actions and moods do not affect you as deeply as they used to. That choice is yours, of course, and at no point do you have to reciprocate or be as mean as they are. You need to become your own best version. And by doing that, you get to release some difficult aspects of your own character. Now, just before we finish up, I want to talk about forgiveness of self and others. And forgiving oneself or others is a powerful tool for moving forward, releasing negative emotions, and for freeing oneself of carrying that burden. Practically, what you could do is have a sit down session with yourself where you write down those people who trespassed against you, write their names, and or draw them as little characters, while saying, I forgive you. This act in itself will diffuse years of pent up anger and resentment and free you from all those people who have hurt you. In my spread here today, I have forgiven somebody who gossiped about me. I have forgiven somebody who acted mean. I have forgiven somebody who's been acting angry against me for years. She has literally given me so much heartache and pain that I had no other choice today but to just release her for good. Some I've forgiven for just giving me a weird look, and some I've forgiven for not standing up for what was right. There will be many things you might need to forgive, and many people you might need to forgive in the process. And for that, I want you to give yourself time to find the compassion within so that you can forgive them and yourself. Trying to understand why all these things happen to you is fruitless, but working through those forgiveness acts and giving a voice to your feelings is the fastest and also most constructive way to move past all of these hurtful things. So you don't have to deal with those difficult people anymore, and you get to release all these upsets so that you can move forward in your life. I hope you can find yourself in a place where creativity and mindful practices like this will help you through many turmoils, and that whatever you are going through, you'll have the support you need. And if there's no one else in your life, come to our comment section and share your heart. Tell me what's going on in your life. What do you need help with? And who do you need help with? How can we help you transmute those feelings and bring about a sense of calm, relaxation, whimsy, and feelings of appreciation so that you don't have to go through life all alone? It's been so much fun being here beside you, helping you find that really amazing thing where you can create little characters and do it with purpose and meaning, and also release some of those old things that tend to be tend to be stuck within us. Now, it won't take you long to realize that a little creative practice like this is the ideal situation to relax your mind, but also to help you reflect on things that have happened in your life, especially when you had to deal with difficult characters. I do wish that you would have the courage to join our membership, where you get to uplift yourself and blossom and grow.